Margaret Whittaker had buried her husband 10 years ago. On the morning of her 80th birthday, Margaret Whittaker heard her late husband's voice crackle through an old cassette tape, warning her she was in danger. It was dread. It began with a box, just a ribbon tied on top, with one word on it, Margaret, Henry's handwriting. Her fingers trembled as she untied the ribbon and opened the lid. Inside, a dust-smudged cassette tape. She climbed to the attic, slowly, knees aching, and pulled out the old tape player. The one they used in the early days, sitting cross-legged on the carpet with glasses of wine and music playing softly between them. She pressed the cassette into place. The speakers hissed, then popped. Then a voice she hadn't heard in a decade spilled through the static, clear and calm. "If you're hearing this, I've been murdered. And so will you, Margaret, unless you do exactly as I say." She froze. They're watching. They always were. The accident at the lab, the brakes in the car, even your fall last winter. Not clumsiness. They're pushing, testing. They think you have it. Her hand flew to her mouth. "Go to the shed. Loose floorboard. You know the one. Beneath it is everything. Get it to Charles in Edinburgh. He'll know what to do." But Margaret trusts no one. Margaret stared out the window for a moment longer before setting the cassette aside. She moved like someone remembering how to walk. Past the lavender shrubs, past the hydrangeas Henry loved. Toward the old shed with the sagging door and broken lock, she found the floorboard easily. Beneath it, a weathered tin box. Inside were secrets. Photographs of strangers in military uniforms. Schematics for a device she didn't understand. A flash drive. And Henry's wedding ring, crusted faintly with dried blood. Her heart twisted. Then she heard it. The crunch of gravel. A sleek black car rolled silently up the drive. Two men stepped out, sharp suits, polished shoes, mirrored sunglasses. "Mrs. Whittaker," one said smoothly. "We'd like a word." She smiled faintly, tucking the tin under her cardigan. "I'm sorry," she said, "but I was just leaving." She slipped out the back gate down the old footpath she and Henry once wandered at dusk. Her lungs burned, her hips ached, but fear lent her strength. By sundown, she was on a train to London. At a dim hostel that smelled of dust and old rain, Margaret examined the documents under the harsh flicker of a lamp. What she found chilled her more than Henry's voice had. Coordinates, operation names, wire transfers to ghost accounts. Photos of a diplomat whose death had made headlines 2 years ago, declared an accident. She remembered the footage, and then the ring. Inside, barely visible, a message etched into the metal. "Trust no one, not even Charles." Her stomach turned. Charles had been Henry's confidant, friendly, charming to polished, and always asking questions. She didn't go to Edinburgh. Instead, she reached out to Agnes Smith, an old name from Henry's MI6 days, now retired to the quiet borders of Wales. Agnes hadn't hesitated. She owed Henry something about Berlin in 1973. They decrypted the flash drive together. What they uncovered could unravel entire governments. Names, places, torture sites, secret ops. The kind of truths nations were built to hide. They sent it all to the press. What followed was chaos. Scandals broke. Heads rolled. Charles, ever smiling and venomous, was the first to fall. He hadn't anticipated Margaret. A year later, in a small garden blooming with lavender, Margaret sipped tea in the quiet dusk. No medals, no headlines, but something had shifted in the world. Justice, however, quietly had breathed again. She wore Henry's ring on a silver chain around her neck, resting over her heart. Some nights, when the wind swept in just right, she almost heard his voice again, soft and proud. And, in the end, Henry had given her one final gift, the truth. Drop a comment if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more animated stories.